Retro Rewind. Retro Rewind. 20 years of radio history, celebrating over 30 years of the greatest songs ever made.
Hey, Deborah Gibson here. Thanks for logging on to RetroRewind.com.
Retro Rewind!
This is Retro Rewind.
Yeah, and I think you're dressed nice. I don't see how you're the worst dressed celebrity. I saw that today.
On Star, well, I'm kind of used to it. It's like, I don't know what it is, but I'm apparently very easy to take a pot shot at. But the thing about those worst dressed lists is, first of all, that's a moment for any press is good press if you like the way you look. Secondly, that was from a stage outfit from a benefit for my camp, which was...
see, they don't tell you that.
They don't tell you that you're wearing this glitzy little fun top on stage, and they don't tell you it relates to kids or what song you're performing in. So, if they wanted to, they could have taken my red carpet outfit, which was very sleek and chic and understated, but that would have been... It's not nearly as much fun. Yeah,
no,
because way more fun to make fun of you.
Yeah, well, and who was doing that? What site was that?
No, it was Star Magazine.
Oh, Star did that.
And also, one day I went to the Fashion Police, to see what they look like.
Yeah.
Because normally they're kind of like grungy comedians and drag queens and
whatever.
whatever.
That's true. Laying around in their underwear, their boxers or whatever, probably just blogging.
Exactly.
Spilling sandwiches on their chest hairs and everything else.
And that little top I was wearing actually was a Bob Mackie. I got to borrow it. So
they don't know what they're talking about.
Don't diss Bob Mackie. For God's sakes, it's sacrilegious.
Well, I thought I'd give you a chance to kind of clear the air, with that. I saw that.
No, I actually was missing being on the Fashion Police because I hadn't been in it in a while, I thought.
It was
my
all a
career's
conspiracy.
over because
She did it on
I haven't
purpose.
been in the Fashion Police.
Well, that's cool. So you're talking about, just letting it kind of roll off your back now that we're older and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely want to talk about your camp here in a sec. But if we can just, use that as a diving board, if you will, to the jumping back to the past. You were saying that maybe when you were younger, you were successful. I'm sure it wasn't overnight for you, but for the average person, like, who's this girl coming out of nowhere with all these hits? You had a lot of top 10 hits. Still the youngest female, I think, to write, produce.
Actually, male or female.
Male or female, that's right.
Yeah.
To do a number one solo too. We're not talking co-writing or co-producing. That was all you.
Right.
So I'll get to those in a minute. But what was that like for you? You were talking earlier about being in school and science and biology being a bad subject. But aren't you in those classes thinking about Lost in Your Eyes?
I was writing songs.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny because I purposely stayed in regular high school because I thought, that'll keep me normal.
Yeah, wow.
But in hindsight, I kind of was like purposely torturing myself because I wasn't living a normal teenage life. And on one hand, I'm glad I stayed in school because I wasn't in a bubble. I knew I knew how, I put it this way, I learned a lot about psychology at a very young age. I mean, I saw kids who suddenly wanted to be my best friend who wouldn't give me the time of day. Suddenly kids were being evil to me, and I thought, what did I do to them?
Yeah.
And
Jealousy.
then you learn a lot about jealousy and a lot about other people's insecurities, and it's a kind of a lot to learn at 16.
Yeah.
So, that's why a lot of the kids on TV and who have pop careers are homeschooled or have tutors. And again, I don't know which is better or worse. I just knew that's what I wanted to do at the time.
You have
but
any
it was
regrets?
difficult. Well, I mean, I had teachers making my life miserable too because they couldn't stand the fact that I was actually keeping up with my work.
Yeah.
And I was.
How about that?
Yeah, I mean, I still was in the top 10% of my class, and I was only there half the time. They hated me for it, and they thought, she's out living this glamorous life, when in fact I was performing in clubs, 3 clubs a night, 4 nights a week. I was changing costumes in the car and going to the next one and trying to get my record heard and working really hard.
Yeah.
But again, that would have been too much fun to admit that. I mean,
Right.
that wouldn't have been as much fun as saying, she's off on some world tour and she's too good for us and she's not here and she's keeping up with her work to boot. Darn it, we're gonna lay more work on her and more tests on her and see how difficult we can make her life. And that's how that was my life. So again, in hindsight, might I have done it differently? But then also I might have been kind of socially dysfunctional had I been homeschooled.
Yeah.
And I might have been a little bit more of a princess in a bubble because I wasn't living in the real world. So I probably am glad I took the path I did. There was probably no path that would have been easy anyway.
No, not for you.
So I took the more real route.
Because we're talking #1 hits, #1 albums, lots of hits. We talked about you getting the ASCAP Award. You know, I know Billy Joel's one of your heroes, and you beat him out. You know, and I mean, what's going on?
I mean, John Rich has earned that honor a few years in a row.
Yeah,
just major people that I idolize, and so, you know, that was amazing. I mean, I look at like Taylor Swift right now, and I go, oh God, she's probably going to win one. I don't know if she's ASCAP or BMI or what, but I'm sure she'll win. Just because of the fact that her hits are bigger than any other writer's hits, you know, and I'm sure there will be grown men beating their head against the wall going, I can't believe it, an 18-year-old girl beat me.
Right.
And I'm like, rock on, Taylor, do it, you know. And she was so funny. I mean, she was on, I think, the CMA saying, God, it's so cool that you can just write songs about boys in your room and win an award, you know, and I know people like love her and hate her for that. And, but, you know, that's how it is. She's writing what other teenagers want to hear and what they're feeling. And it might not be earth-shattering or new information to us older people, but to people her age, she's speaking their language. And that's kind of what I was doing at the time. And,
absolutely.
You know, singing about puppy love and unrequited love and, you know, all of those things that especially teenage girls are writing their diaries about. And I was kind of singing my diary, if you will.
How about that? It worked out. Now let's talk a little bit about Deborah Gibson's Electric Youth, right?
Yes.
Now, I'm just saying, you told me a few years ago it's Deborah now, and it's always been Deborah, right?
Yes.
But of course, the radio guys like myself, who we you know, it was Debbie.
Debbie Gibson was very much the stage name and the pop music name, and who knows, you know, I'm working on new music, and maybe I'll go back to that for pop because it seems to work for me in pop. I don't know.
Well, Ricky Schroeder went back to Ricky,
went to Rick and then back to Ricky again. He was like, I give up. Well, because it's weird, again, just much like, you know, what we were talking about off camera about, like, you know, you do the Twitter thing.
Yeah.
I kind of forget, like, the bubble I live in is I forget that there's media out there, and I forget there's the internet. I kind of like feel like I'm just sending a text to my closest friends, and then it's, you know, everywhere. So with the name change, I thought, oh, I'm just going to like slip it in there. I'm just going to quietly go back to the name I've always liked to be called, and hope that no one questions it.
Yeah.
What planet was I living on? Of course, people that's the stuff they grab onto because they go, oh, it's Deborah now.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. And I'm like, nah, it was actually always Deborah, and I just didn't actually want to create a disconnect between my stage persona and who I am in real life because it's actually the same person.
Yeah.
And it was odd for me to be called some other name in one part of my life and another name in another part of my life. And I just wanted, so, you know, it was never like, I'm sophisticated now, call me Deborah, because I'm not very sophisticated.
Well, you know, in high school, I went by David. And I can't stand David now. I like Dave. But like all my high school buddies that are on Facebook or Twitter now, it's how you doing, David? You know, it's like, ugh.
Who's that?
It sounds weird, you know. But let's talk a little bit about your camp. Right now you're holding some summer scholarships and some auditions. So tell us a little bit about what you do.
Well, you know, you had mentioned that, yes, I'm still the record holder for being the youngest writer and all of that. And I thought, God, it's been like 20 years I've held that record. I kind of want to almost help nurture and mentor the kid who's going to beat that record.
There you go.
You know, we need more empowered performers and songwriters and versatile entertainers that are going to be able to have these long careers, because we're unfortunately seeing reality television and people who have like a 3-year lifespan. You know, it's like the lifespan of a housefly, because being a celebrity is, contrary to popular belief, actually not an art form. It's become an art form, unfortunately, but I don't think it can last very long. So I think, you know, I just really wanted to give kids a serious arts education. I mean, I know that from me growing up, I sought out individual teachers, and if I could have had them all in one place at one time, I would have been in heaven.
Retro Rewind!
The 90s, 80s, the 70s, it's all right now on Retro Rewind.